are those dark mothers, those black Madonnas.
Mm-hmm.
It's 12 daughters of Isis that represent the other ethnic groups of people around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they are different skin tones and hair textures. Their big mamas will receive source codes the same as our big mamas. Our big mamas will just get more data because they have a stronger connection to both creation and the earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They operating by the addition of the higher carbon density, which is the primordial noon or dark matter of the great mother.
Right.
So that's why they get the data, the most data first, because they are more closely tied to first creation.
Right. Definitely. Let's see. Shout out to Aphrodite. She wants to know what goddess will rule over the golden age.
It will start, but the goddesses don't always choose to rule the entire duration, and they pass it like a baton to one of their sisters, right? So you will look at the hierarchy that they have in Egypt. So you have Aset, that's known as Isis. Mm-hmm. She is the first at the top of the pyramid of sisters that's heirs to the throne. Second is Sekhmet. It's Het Heru. Right? The male side, Heru is the heir. On the female side, Het Heru is the heir. She's the next in line, and then Sekhmet. Right? Now, Sekhmet can come in ahead of Het Heru if she's coming in wartime as a war priestess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if she come in peacetime, it'll come through Het Heru, the peace goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they have different functions. But as they, so it's no one, the titles are, those seats are titles for the next in line sequencing of the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
All of those names you hear out of Egypt, Ra, Osiris, Set, Isis, Het Heru or Hathor, Set, those are titles. Mm-hmm. And they represented by, most of the time, a totem animal, and some of them are represented by human-like god form with some type of magical implements from the Heka associated with them as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This brother wants to know, are you really losing a fraction of your prana every time you ejaculate, or can go do practice to replenish with no negatives even if you ejaculate?
Look, you have practices for different purposes. The real purpose of learning the semen retention is to be able to bring the waterfalls of heaven down before you lose your erection. In other words, you're supposed to make the female orgasm before you orgasm, or else she won't reach a climax and you complicate the energy, which comes out in your relationship as a bitter ass woman. Right? So you ejaculating, your body gonna replenish that energy. It has to. As long as your mitochondrial is working properly, you will always replenish the energy that you surrender into the world. Right? So the semen retention is a training program to become a more valued sexual partner for your mate. Kama Sutra.
I love how you keep talking about this training program, Rod, and the simulation. It makes total sense. That whole concept resonates a lot with me, man. When you think about our purpose being down here, and when you think about the planes and the simulation, and you act like you flying a plane, but you're really not, that should make total sense, man. Let's do. We're gonna do about 3 more questions. You got time for 3 more questions, Rod?
I'm here.
All right, let's do about 3 more questions. Somebody wants to know, will you be teaching any classes? This is not one of the 3 questions, but will you be teaching any classes, Rod?
When we come back on, when our system come online, because they ain't finna get me caught up in this cult shit. So So when our system come back online, yeah, I'm gonna be having rites of passage programs. I'm gonna be training teachers and doulas.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be doing we're gonna have a big like a university of holistic medicine, inviting doctors from around the world to come and teach what they know.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be sending doulas around the world to go work with other doulas in order to learn the ancient birthing practices and upgrade them and implement them into modern healthcare. We're going to be training children to use their psychic abilities at an earlier age so that they can be a bigger powerhouse for the future. So all this stuff is going to be part of the programs when our system come online. But as long as these people is in power, I ain't finna put my head out there like that. I teach online. They won't never call me a cult leader and come running up in this motherfucker with the SWAT team.
Crazy, man.
They keep calling me Rod the Madman. As long as they don't call me a cult leader, I'm cool.
Oh man. Let's see. Okay, Rod. Felicia wants to know, do you have to be in the sunlight to get the codes? Weather has been cloudy in California, Rod.
Look, them codes coming in.
Right.
The sun codes are already been coming in. They've been coming in on solar flares and wind and solar storms for the last year and a half. And people been going through different roller coasters of ascension symptoms that they thinking they've been sick. They weren't sick, they was getting upgraded.
Yeah.
And when the sickness go away, you feel better than you did before you were sick. All of this is part of it. Some people might choose to be breatharians after this. Some people might not. Right? But the whole thing is to find the true balance of Earth between the men, the women, and the universe. The alignment becomes critical when you download. The source code can penetrate everything that you see. The solar rays, they go straight to the core of the Earth and filter through the people going in and coming out, because the Earth is the sun is asking the Earth a question about the people. So those are your incoming solar flares and solar storms. And when the Earth answers, it sends a frequency back through the people that delivers the answer back to the center of the solar system. Then when the source codes come in, they come in directly from prime source center of the galaxy, right? This is where the greatest draw is to the central point in our little part of creation called the Milky Way. Only thing I can't figure out is who took the fucking picture of the Milky Way. I can't figure that shit out. We in the Milky Way. That's like trying to take a picture of the outside of your house from being inside. How the hell they do that? I ain't figured it out yet.
So, Rod, so the people and me I could understand this better, right? So we got source code that's from the prime creator, Big Mama, and we got sun codes. If we're getting the source code, that's a direct communication. What relationship does the sun code have to the source code? You know, like, is Big Mama, is that her brother? Is that her nephew? Is that her cousin? Like, who would sun be?
So to use it in the same way that the Masons use it, Fiat Lux, let there be light, is the sun. That's the widow's son. The source, that's Big Mama. That's the widow. They work together. Nothing can move in the changing of the guard until the widow find her son, or vice versa. Right? That's when the source codes begin to talk to the solar rays, and we play it out in the flesh, right? And it happens in the stars, as above, so below. We just walking in the pattern that we reading the energy from the stars.
Right.
All the people of the earth make up the total number of stars you see in the sky.
Right.
Right. So At least the ones that's in visual sight. The ones that's going to be born later, you probably can't even see their star yet.
Mm.
Right? So they'll run those codes. Those are star codes.
Mm.
Right? And the Milky Way galaxy is a accumulation of stardust that formed into what we see in front of us.
Mm. Interesting.
Right?
Let's get to another question, y'all. Let's get to another question. I'm a while Rod is answering this next question, I'm gonna post that video that Rod sent me. I got the full video. I'm gonna post it in the chat for y'all. I seen somebody asked about it. Somebody said, what about this polar vortex coming next week? What's that about, Rod? You heard about that?
I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay.
But I think that's that cold front. They warning about that freezing cold front. The Earth is terraforming right now.
Yeah.
It's literally in real time terraforming. You could see grass in Mecca in the desert. It's all green pastures, right? Then in certain places that was barren, there's water springs sprouting up. And certain places that was lush greenery getting mudslides. The earth is changing. And a lot of the women can feel it.
Yeah, you know how you talk about I'm trying to find this link for the people. You know how you talk about you was talking about Arizona. Yeah, it's funny. As soon as I'm about to talk about Iceland, this person that's how this synchronicity. What the hell is the deal? You talk about Arizona being where the ancient Egyptians was and shit like that. What's up with Iceland, man? I got this interconnection to Iceland. What was Iceland in antiquity, man? I fucks with Iceland. I want to go there, man. Any info about Iceland?
You need to get Ivan Van Sertima African presence in early America. Because he talk about the pygmy people that used to live in the underground in Iceland and Greenland.
Okay.
Right? They're not there no more.
Right. I was talking to Billy the other day about a couple of weeks ago. We did a show. And the solar flares that the sun erupts. What is when a volcano explodes, erupts? What can you attribute that to? Is something going on in the inner earth or the inner sun that's causing?
You ever had a pimple before?
Yeah.
That's your volcano on your face.
Mm-hmm.
The volcano is getting rid of, it's a pressure release valve. They all over the planet. Right? If you got a magma layer under the plates, and the magma layer is cooking.
Right.
And is melting the plates. Right? And so it builds up pressure over time. And it breaks out in a sore, a pimple. Right? And the more pressure, when it break out, the greater the eruption. You've seen people with pimples that ooze.
Right.
Yeah, that's a volcano just running over. Comparative analysis will always help you understand a little bit better.
Yeah, wow. Family, I just posted the link. You check out this video, you'll be able to estimate the exact time of this window, this 6-hour window that's going down on the 15th. Y'all can do all the homework on yourselves, but I just gave y'all all the keys right there. So check that out. And just for more information on this alignment that Rod is talking about that's happening, once again, shout out to Rod for sending me that video. But definitely check out that that video. We're gonna take one more question. What time is it? Then we're gonna get out of here. Let's see. All right, this brother wants to know. I've seen this question a couple of times. Should we still pursue worldly goals at this time, such as fitness, building wealth, getting certifications, etc.?
Any self-improvement is encouraged. Anything you can learn it. Right? The only thing that I would say is don't let nobody trick you into signing no paperwork. It's paper chain.
Right.
The rest of it, go get your knowledge. Go get, you know, physical fitness is part of overall healthcare or self-care.
Mm-hmm.
The better physically fit you are, the less likely you are to have a critical ailment.
Indeed. All right. I listen. With that being said, and I want to share the brothers. We about to get out of here. Let me share the brothers' Cash App one more time before I get out of here, because I seen somebody else had mentioned it, but I didn't want to interrupt the show. Sick. Shit. Hold up, y'all. $SIKAPE. Once again, for those who asked a little while ago for the brothers' Cash App, if y'all would like to show the brother gratitude, he talked about gratitude. His Cash App is $, capital SIK, capital APE. All right, family. I appreciate it. We got almost 4,000 people in the chat. I appreciate everybody for coming out. What a show, y'all. What a show. Y'all got the link in the chat. Watch this over if y'all need to. Sisters, Rod told y'all sisters what y'all need to be doing out there. You know what I'm saying? Go to the spa if you can. You know, brothers, y'all know what y'all got to do. We got our assignment today, y'all. We got our assignment. Rod, before we get out of here, how can they contact you? You on Instagram? Where you at, Rod?
It's easier to find me on Instagram, but my Facebook, I'll be there too. Rod Hayes on Facebook. My profile picture change often. And it's the SikApe on Instagram. The same as my Cash App with THE in front of it.
Indeed. All right. With that being said, I want to thank everybody. Rod, thank you once again, my brother, for coming through. A great conversation with you the other day. Great conversation tonight, as always, my brother. Look forward to seeing you again soon, my brother. And enjoy the 15th, my brother. Enjoy that window. Tap in, my brother.
I just want to know what's gonna happen. Because I don't know what it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
You know, and what the rollout better.
Much better. Now, what you were saying, my brother?
So it take us back to the point of origin of when we shifted from spirituality to religion.
Right.
You got to look at everything first and foremost as signatures of energy. Right. And the way that you can explain it from a spiritual perspective for a person to understand it in 3D is the force and power that governs a frequency. You give it a name, right? Making it a person, place, or thing now. The 3D person can now have a frame of reference for a spiritual phenomenon.
Okay.
Right? In truth, don't nobody own nothing. If you can't take it with you when you leave, you don't own it. You just borrow it. Right? So this is why we got into inheritance. Because now whatever you work for, you can leave your children with the fruits of your labor. Right? So now we have to explain to regular people who don't know quantum physics, don't know epigenetics, and they don't know astrophysics. How do you explain it to them where they can understand how these energies govern on that frequency? So when you make it into a person, place, or noun, now you give it a referenceable format.
Got you.
So now you got a name and a description to go with the name of how the energy worked. And this is why when we used to name our children, it was based on something in their character or something that we wanted to instill in their character. It's your name is the most spoken mantra for you out of anything you've ever heard. You can never unless you change your name, you can never not have that as your number one mantra, your name. And this is why your spiritual self attach identity in a three-dimensional format.
Right.
Right? Now you come back on your genetics when your frequency realign with the child that's being born. But you have to embody the energy that was your energy original self. Right? So now you go back to what Elijah Muhammad said. He said the black man is the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, and God of the universe. The collective consciousness cannot see a universe if you don't give them a descriptive analysis of what a universe is. So the glory of the bliss of being able to observe it by frequency without the name attached is a different level of connection with the universe.
Okay.
So when we go back in the historical records and you see that the Anunnaki is claiming that they own Earth. And they claim that before they came, it was some people here. Okay, so you can't own something that you're not organic to, but you can stake a claim. But if you stake a claim in the presence of warriors, you just ignited a war. Right? So now in military terms, you win by conquest. Right? The conquest is the end result of warfare. Warfare is raging political violence used to further a political agenda. Carl von Clausewitz on war. Okay, so understanding that the war is to be dealing with the politics, meaning the body of people that you governing over. So when you say somebody own it, to own it means that you have to tend to it, do the maintenance on it, the caretakers of it. You are responsible for the health and the well-being of that which you claim to own. It doesn't mean that somebody won't come into your house and contest your position and say, you living in my house. It's how are you capable of defending your position that determines if you can stay in that house or if you're going to lose it to an interloper. Right? So the ownership that they claiming is only for mineral rights. Right? So when you go back in your Bible, your Quran is always about the gold. They going into foreign lands and they saying the gold is good in that land. And then we finna go move over there. Right? These are human interpretations of celestial phenomena. You have to read it first as an energy signature based on the description of the energy before you can accept it as an actual being.
Right.
They not here right now. So anything that you hearing that existed in the past is hearsay, whether it's written or spoken. But what takes place in the present that you are witnessing to is no longer hearsay, it's direct message from direct source. Right? So we listen to the historical descriptions and it's how we taught to interpret them. We taught to interpret them because when interpreted in a certain way, it arrests your development and they put you on autopilot to keep arresting your development. The God Amun is the unknown God. When you go back to the war of the priests, it was the Amun priests, the ones who felt that the divinity in man should be unseen to the regular or what they call profane. The Aten priests said, no. We are the light of the world. And we gonna let our light shine as a beacon of possibility for the inspiration of our fellow man. And then from there, they incited the priest wars. And this is still tracing the same energy signature back as to the brother versus brother Anunnaki war, where Enki versus Enlil. In Egypt, it's Set versus Osiris, right? Then the son always comes back to redeem the father from the misgivings of the ungrateful who usurped the throne. And then it becomes clear that this is how royal families conduct business in the front of everybody, and we not paying attention to see who's conducting business along these signatures of energy.
Rod, let me ask you this. In terms of we talk about the Anunnaki, there's a story we're talking about Earth. There's a story that we are all familiar with that we were taught when we were young, and a biblical story, and that's the story of the Garden of Eden. What took place? What really took place? I hear echo, Rod. Is that on your end, Rod? I hear echo now.
Is it?
I can't hear you.
Is it me or is it you?
No, I can't hear you that good now, and I'm hearing my echo. Did you do something different with the phone? The snake, the apple.
It's a Babylonian breeding program. It's the instructions to create a worker species using the root stock of the species that's already here. So they trying to use genetic manipulation to dumb them down and make them controllable. This is what they call inserting the worship gene. Because they were supposed to use genetics to instill in the people the desire to honor them as their superiors. And instead of forcing them to do it in the open, they would do it by inserting the worship gene in the genetics. All this is what was going on in what they call the garden. It was part of a genetic manipulation of the DNA of the species of the planet.
Right. Wow. And so when you say this breeding program, what race was a part of this breeding program? And was this? Yeah.
When you look back into the ancient Vedic records and you match that up with the Sumerian records and the legends of the indigenous people of the Great Atlant, you can piece together that it was a whole lot of different, like a conglomerate of different beings who discovered a different species on Earth.
Right.
At different times, and they all became instrumental in manipulating the species, and they justify it by saying it's to raise our consciousness so that we can achieve some stuff that they call godhood.
Right.
But the God state of the earth being is to be in one with the frequency of the planet Earth. So this is why we say bring heaven back to earth, because before usurpation, earth was heaven to the people of earth. Right. So somebody had to come from somewhere else to warn us about a hell while they give us hell in the place that we once seen as heaven. It's a good misdirection.
Right.
An illusionist trick. But once you see how the trick is played, your brain won't accept it as a trick no more. It'll reject it. And that's why I keep trying to explain it as simple as possible, all of these things that they use to deceive us and how it work. Because when you understand how it work, your brain gonna naturally use that in your natural self-defense of your psyche and your spiritual self. Right? So your consciousness is still earthborn, but they've manipulated the genetic stock by incorporating different extraterrestrial DNA into the human stock, which they call the missing links in the evolutionary theory. Right? Because you're looking at the whole species just pop up and be a new species for no reason. That's manipulation. That's science. And they've also found a scar tissue where that they can identify parts of the DNA that's been replaced. You know, and the thing about it is the RNA DNA replication process is a duplicate. So you could trace back genetically using the rate of genetic divergence to see how long ago was this done.
Right.
You know, all these scientists is doing this stuff. I'm just telling y'all what they doing.
Right.
What they looking at, because we don't know. Nobody's coming back to the hood saying, hey, yo, the scientists in the laboratory trying to figure out how to downgrade your DNA and upgrade theirs. And then this is how it works. A lot of people have the theory, but they don't have the operational format by which the thing is being applied. Right? So I come in, I say, this is what they doing. This is how it works. You know, and all of that genetic manipulation is part of the tools of oppression. It's an act of war on a free will society.
You know, I remember years ago, like a lot of years ago, Alex Jones had this DVD. I think it was Alex Jones. He had this DVD called The Prison Planet. And a lot of people who are into this consciousness, they consider this planet like the jail of the cosmos. This is a prison planet. But I noticed if we use